This is my parents' living room, and it needs some work. This is the room where everything in this house happens. This is the lounging area, it's the cinema room, it's the place where we sometimes eat, it's the board game room, it's the mobile office.
Exactly.
So, I want to see just how much we can transform this space using both next-gen tech, but also just smart thinking. The very first thing that pops into my mind here is light. Literally, step one of trying to make any TV look good is to control the light. I mean, just look at this TV right now. Like, all I can see is reflection. And that's partly these curtains. Like, they're not the most efficient way to block out light. Plus, they're just so droopy, and they take up so much space, and they have this... I just don't like them. How attached are you to them?
Not very now. Not after what you've said.
Okay. So I'm thinking we swap these out for something a lot simpler, but also something that's a lot more flush to the wall. But honestly, the biggest crime in this room is this archway. Because it means if you're sitting on this couch and you're looking at the screen, you're getting direct 100% glare from here. So a set of blinds mounted just above that arch that come down. I want these curtains to be completely automatic. I want the blinds to be completely automatic. But because they're two different things, they're going to have to be two different systems. So we're going to need to buy a smart home system to bring them all together. So we can go for a mini, Echo Show 5, Echo Show 8, Echo Show 10, or we just completely make it disappear and go for like an Echo Dot.
Dot is better than a blob.
They're all blobs. The TV itself is, I mean, it's solid. It's an 85-inch Samsung LED screen, but it's from 2015. If we really want to make this feel like a top-end cinema, then this has got to be bigger, it's got to be smarter. No one should be navigating interfaces like this in 2025 with a remote that honestly feels like it has a 30% hit rate when you press things. That, plus it's probably about time I got rid of these Switch controllers. That one's my fault. Mum, what was your first impression when you came in and saw these?
I thought that's different. Nothing surprises me anymore. I'm quite comfortable with it now, to be honest.
Okay, well, that says it all. But when you're buying a TV, there are a lot of tricks out there. There's QLED, there's QNED, and they're all basically designed to sound like they're OLED, but they're not OLED. There are only really two gold standard TV technologies you can feasibly buy. OLED is one of them, and in OLED, every single pixel emits its own light. So you can have some pixels that are super bright right next to other pixels that are completely off, without that light bleeding into those off pixels, which is what gives this tech the really high contrast that it's known for. The other option, though, is RGB mini LED, where instead of each pixel lighting itself, you've got an unlit panel of pixels with an LED backlight sitting behind it. That gives you more space to make that light, and therefore the screen brighter than OLED. And while usually the downside of this backlight is that it lights everything, so you don't get that really high contrast, with RGB mini LED, that light is actually made up of thousands of tiny red, green, and blue LEDs, which still lets you have that control in very small zones, like OLED. Also, this tech is easier to make in massive sizes. So I found literally the largest TV in the world from Hisense, and this is RGB mini LED, and it is also now on its way. Okay, so that, and then an Apple TV 4K box, just because that is the slickest TV user interface you can get right now. What if we got a media wall to go around the TV?
I like the idea of that.
Could either go completely clean like that, where the whole point of the media wall is just to draw attention to the TV.
I think that makes the TV look even bigger.
Okay, sofas. These things are on their last legs. Some of them actually don't have legs.
It wasn't my fault.
How did that actually happen?
I think currents on it.
Now, it was at this point that I bit off more than I could chew with this video. Trying to find sofas and seating that I thought were minimal and clean, that Mum also thought fit into the Victorian aesthetic of the home and had just the right balance of comfort, but also support to be able to get up from them easily, was a challenge that took us 3 entire months to overcome.
Oh, nice.
Not really. But then finally, from a company called Natuzzi, we found that perfect balance. Okay, we're not done though, because I've got some beef with these chandeliers. They're quite distracting, they introduce a lot of glare, and they are like directly in your eye line when you're trying to watch TV. Sorry, Mum.
Room for improvement.
If you go into a proper cinema, you'll notice that all the lighting is indirect because it stays out of your eye line. There's just so much action happening in that light that I think it draws a lot of attention away from the screen when you're trying to focus on it.
Focus is now just watching TV all the time. Forget about talking to each other.
Like, dislike, love.
I like the fact that, again, it's diffused lighting is what we want, isn't it?
Is that too modern?
It's also very nice.
You like the idea, hypothetically, of a ring?
I think that could look quite good.
In terms of speakers, everything here is Sonos. And so I'm kind of in two minds about whether we just refresh what's here. This is early second generation products, like the speakers here are from 2011, or we completely revamp it and go down like the hi-fi route. So right now there is one Sonos Play 3, two Sonos Play 3s. Where is that even firing? And then hidden inside of here, which I actually think is one of the best features of this living room, is one of the oldest soundbars and then a Sonos subwoofer. Mum, what on earth is this cable management?
It wasn't my doing, actually. People have come along and put more kit in there because there's nowhere else to put it.
Wait, are you talking about me? I'm not behind this. I don't want to do this room anymore.
It needs that magic touch of yours.
It needs a flame. That's what it needs. Do you know what? I'm looking at it right now and I actually really do value the wireless simplicity of the Sonos. The new generation of them sound really good. They all wirelessly pair with each other. And because they're active speakers, you don't need to mess around with an amp. They just need a power source. Right, we need to talk.
Do we need to talk again?
Why is there a mirror here?
Brings light into the house.
When was the last time someone actually looked at themselves in this mirror?
Only when I'm cleaning it. Which is once a week.
We should just probably get a squarer one.
Yeah.
I actually think I have a better place for this.
Yeah, in the bin. I have 2 more of those if you want.
Yes, please, where?
I won.
You won this?
Competition, yeah.
Should we hold a competition for someone else?
I think I'll give it to charity.
This table is packed to the brim with board games on the inside, but the lid of it is so heavy. When was the last time this was opened?
I think you opened it about October time last year.
It's a very nice table that never gets used because of the impracticality of it. What if, as part of the media wall, there's actually shelves built in?
I like that.
So if we're going to swap that, we have to swap all the side tables to match as well. But we need to have a coffee table somewhere here that you can leave your drinks.
Yeah.
The massage chair has now become Milo's chair. He's absolutely destroyed it.
This is the love he's showing you.
Thank you, Milo. This is my old computer, which is plugged into nothing right now. Problem that so many people have in this room, no one can find a charger. So I want to get chargers mounted, like a little charging station people can just snap their phones on. Your phone just snaps on and it's the fastest charging you can do right now.
That's really good in every room, to be honest, isn't it? Not just living room, but yeah.
Okay, one at a time.
Fantastic. I love it.
The other thing I wanted to do was get some smart lighting, just to give it a bit of magic. If we worked with the person with the media wall, we could actually get them to bake those lights into it in a way that feels like it's made for it. It's almost getting too cool for me to imagine. They have these floor lamps that look like this. The nice thing is you'd get glow in the room.
Diffuse lighting, very warm lighting.
Yeah.
It'll give a very relaxed sort of feel at night.
This is all the more reason to get something like an Amazon Alexa device. If we're gonna do that, we might as well also just get Govee smart bulbs for all the different bulbs. So the bulbs in the chandeliers, the bulbs in the side lights, and anything else that might be here.
I've never designed a room in an hour.
Yeah, Mum. An hour. That's all this took. After months of pre-prep, the time had finally come to execute. I want to be able to have this one single great moment where we reveal the finished space to them. So we scheduled everything to happen within the span of a week while we fenced the room off to avoid any peeking. We ripped apart pretty much everything that was there. I had to say a very painful goodbye to my giant Switch Joy-Cons. A lot of good memories with those. But then on the bright side, nothing made me happier than never having to see these remnants of a sofa again. And then it was just time to build. Incredibly satisfying to see this media wall come together. And also, I thought I knew how big a 116-inch TV was. Turns out I didn't. We've just done the finishing touches. And by that, I mean about 6 hours of intense cable management. My parents are coming home very soon, so let me quickly show you what we got. Oh, I've been wanting to do that for so long. I'm so excited for them to see this. Okay, so the curtains, they might not look like much. No, I take that back. I actually love them compared to the droopy, frumpy things we had before that I could not wait to donate to extended family. But what we've done is fitted them on a motorized rail from a smart home company called Somfy, which means all I have to do is give them a little tug. And when I finish, they register that as their command to close. And what I absolutely love about this is when the two sides meet, they cover that entire side of the room. So instead of being distracted by the thousands of intricate patterns and shapes and covings and bits of window, you can just pretend that the entire thing doesn't exist, which brings your attention into the room. But let's keep them open for now, which again is just a little pull the other way. I got two 25-watt wireless Belkin chargers. I was really keen on ones that can fold, so you can use the magnets if you've got an iPhone, or a Google Pixel phone these days, and then you can lay them flat for phones that don't have the magnets. And the other thing was just finding chargers that are fast, because it is an absolute pain to have to leave your phone stuck somewhere for 30 minutes, only to come back and see you have 5% extra battery because of it. That's surprisingly common with wireless chargers, especially ones where your phone isn't directly snapping into position. These ones, though, should charge 50% in 30 minutes. Oh, and then, classic Orange Touch, I stuck them down with little sticky tabs underneath, because I know where they look good and I don't trust anyone else to move them. And then this is an Aura frame. Mum and Dad both love sticking up photos of us, but if I'm being brutal, it was starting to look a little like a crime investigation board in the old room. So this is basically a mini Samsung Frame TV. They can have all the photos they want, they get one frame. It's actually the best implementation of the digital frame concept I've seen though, because you can just add as many photos as you want to a Google Photos album, and anytime you update the album, it'll update the frame. So I did what any good son would do, filled it with photos of me. And then like the Samsung Frame, it's got a little ambient light sensor to turn itself off when the room is dark. And now is a pretty good time to go dark, because just like we originally planned, we got Mum's Echo Blob over here. And this has control over everything in the room. So if one evening my parents decided they just want to sit down and lock into some Downton Abbey, then they just have to say 3 words. Alexa, movie mode.
Okay.
And a whole bunch of things will happen. So the Somfy rails up there, for example, those are Wi-Fi connected, so they will start to close. We've got a blind over here, which is also Somfy, so well, I guess I'll see you in the next shot. And because every single light in the room is a smart light from Govee, those start to dim and animate like a fire. I knew I wanted to go with Govee here months ago because you get really fine control with their lights, and also their light strips are sick. They just got so many LEDs packed really close together, so you can't see the individual bright spots like you can with the patchier ones we've got at our house. So I thought those were going to be my favorite, but then since I ordered them, Govee actually asked to sponsor this video and sent out 2 more things that I think might be even cooler. First is the uplighter. So the company has a bunch of different floor lamps, but this is one lamp that has 3 different lighting zones. So the bottom can be a warm white, we can just set the middle to fireplacey colors for vibes, or I can set the upper section to project that fire onto the ceiling. Then the second thing is the Govee sparkle lights that I've got around the tree. All you do is scan them with your phone, and each light uses the phone's camera to figure out where it is on the tree, which is important because that makes it so easy now. So just pop onto the app and select an effect you want. So this one is ribbon, or this one is carnival. And can you see how they're animating seamlessly across the whole tree? Or I can just use the AI lighting bot and say Valentine's Day. Would you like me to apply it? Okay. Look at the tree. Look at the TV! So that effect is applying to every single bulb, strip, and lamp in this room. And all of it in both of these rooms can then be turned off and on from one switch from the app. Link below for a very special deal on Govee stuff. Is that them? Guys, sorry, we're gonna be 5 minutes. Oh my God, okay. So there's a very obvious elephant in the room that we should probably address now. The media wall. Now this wall is something that I originally thought was a bit of an extra, but when I look at the whole room now, I think it might be the single most transformational ingredient. So, it's partly the storage. This one cabinet that's only really taking up what would otherwise be dead space anyways, is holding every board game, or at least every one that we wanted to keep from that ridiculous table that we used to have in the corner. We've built a tiny little charging station in there for accessories and remotes, and we've got that while keeping 3 spare cabinets, which I'm a little nervous about because I feel like I'm gonna come back and find more photo frames inside. The wall is partly for sound quality because all of this paneling is acoustic paneling. It's got a felt layer designed to lightly absorb sound waves that would otherwise get reflected directly off this wall and muddy the sound a little bit. And then, as well as the practical, it's also just the ambiance. Like the outer frame lets us sneak in an extra 4 of those Govee light strips. The fireplace is probably not gonna fool anyone into thinking it's a real fire, but it kind of feels like one, with this vent at the top actually kicking out a lot of heat. And it's allowed us to get these slats going behind the TV, which almost makes the screen look like it's floating, which is particularly amusing given that it took 4 grown men to raise it about an inch when we were deciding where to place it. Although, to be fair, incredibly, it kind of is floating. We spent over $1,000 just on this ridiculous hydraulic mount from Future Automation, just because we will inevitably decide we want to go back in later to upgrade bits. And then on this wall, just a TV, just a run-of-the-mill 116-inch Hisense UXQ. Here's an iPhone 17 Pro for reference. And apart from the very obvious, there's a couple of reasons why I think this is particularly great for the room. One, because while we have worked very hard to reduce reflections, ultimately, this is a living room with windows that is going to be used during the day. It is not a blacked out cinema. Thankfully, this is where Mini LED shines. Literally. So if you've been keeping track of phones over the last few years, you will know the absolute brightest screens that money can buy are between 3,000 to 4,000 nits. This, like the sun, goes up to 8,000 thanks to the RGB mini LED tech that Hisense uses. And I was originally worried, oh, a screen that's large enough to live inside of, maybe the color accuracy will be a bit off. It is not. All it's done is just ruined other TVs for me. And also, this isn't actually completely smooth. There is a microscopic etching on the surface, which means instead of a flat panel that would be reflecting the majority of the light back at you, this is doing a lot of scattering. Normal people would call this anti-reflective. And the other thing is, because we now have a screen that's half the size of the Times Square billboard that my parents will inevitably use to watch my 240p quality baby videos on, you need upscaling, which the massively improved chip and AI engine inside of here is handling rather well, I might add. Plus, it's got a 165Hz refresh rate, just in case Mum decides to become a professional Counter-Strike 2 player. And then connected to that is an Apple TV 4K. They've been apparently just about to launch a new one for like the last 3 months, but there comes a point where you have to accept they're going to announce it the week post this video. But even this, compared to that sticky old Samsung TV remote, is going to be such an upgrade to how slick it feels to navigate Netflix and Disney+. They've never even had proper voice control before. So just being able to say K-pop Demon Hunters, for example, and seeing the results come up, I think it's going to blow their mind. And another little Oren touch, this room became legendary for its ability to just make TV remotes disappear into thin air. So I got a case for the Apple TV remote from Elago, and it allows you to put an AirTag inside of it, which means, so we shove that under there, and I'm standing here, then this is going to very literally lead me to the exact spot where the remote is. It's so parent-friendly. Clearly, I'm so scarred by this, I've implemented a second layer of security. This is something I've done with all my remotes back home too. 2 magnets on the back of the remote and 2 magnets where I want that remote to belong. And it creates a natural magnetic resting space for it if they actually lose the thing now, and taking away their one permitted photo frame. We got 2 of these mini drinks tables, and I just love them. They're like a more flexy version of a coffee table. But the key thing with all of this stuff is making sure that it preserves the sight lines to the TV. Everything is low and out the way, which is also why we got this much slimmer chandelier and then tucked it so close to the ceiling. It's all about the immersion of the video, but also the audio. So speaker-wise, I put each of the small Sonos speakers in the corners, and they are specifically targeted at where my parents will sit, just to make sure that we're professionally jump scaring them in surround sound. But I love this. I love when companies get the little details right, like how you can route the cables through the stands so you don't have them dangling. The subwoofer is down here, because bass notes are not super directional like high notes, so you can just bury it out the way. But those are all supplemental. The primary sound source in this setup is the soundbar underneath the screen. It's very loud. But the coolest thing for me about this is, as part of this set, you also get these headphones. So let's say Mum and Dad are watching TV one evening. This happens a lot. Mum falls asleep, Dad wants to carry on. Dad would just hold down the button on the side of these headphones for like 5 seconds, and that transfers the audio source to the headphones so that he can just carry on. I've never seen this concept executed as smoothly as it is here. You know, it's only just dawned on me. Combination of all the different things we have done means that this is the first time I'm ever watching a TV in this room with absolutely 0 visible reflections on it. We've actually done it. These are incredible too. And every single one of these is also its own electric recliner. Come to think of it, this might not help the sleeping problem. It's a little bit surreal because I've kind of built up an association in my mind of these sofas being consistently one big sit away from collapsing. Feels liberating to not have that ever-present threat. And then these 2 individual chairs rotate, which I think is so important because it means you can have conversation mode, but then when you're done with conversation, TV mode. Okay, the time has come. Think we're ready?
My heart is racing now.
I just want you to really clearly visualize what the room used to look like before.
The table at the front next to the sofa on the left hand.
A lot of tables, yep.
Game Boy.
Oh no, not a Game Boy, Dad.
No,
the Switch. 3, 2, 1, take them off.
Oh my God! Oh, holy moly! Oh, that is totally different.
What's the first thing your eyes are drawn to?
The TV.
That's the biggest single panel TV in the world.
Wow. This room has never looked this clean before.
We've banned all photo frames apart from one.
Just that one.
But it's a smart photo frame.
We've got to watch more TV now.
There's buttons towards the front. Nope, Mum's okay. This is different levels of technical proficiency. Alexa, daytime mode.
No way. Don't have to get up from the sofa now, that's it. Thank you so much, Arun. Honestly, it's just the most beautiful thing I've seen.
It was amazing. Good
Thank
job.
you.
Amazing job. Looks amazing.